When you think about money dynamics within a family, we talked about earlier the money genogram, but you can look at a whole family system and see what different roles that many clients might display. So you might have the identified patient, the parentified child, the financial scapegoating that you might see. You might see money as love or control. You can see that it's different roles in a family. When you're sitting with a family or sitting with a client, you're wanting to identify what roles did they have in their own family, and how is that playing out in now how they deal with finances in their life, or if they get an inheritance like you're speaking of, or in the way that they interact with their own partner or children now. You're going to want to look at that family of origin system and what role they played. We would also want to look at, is that a role that they feel is helpful or healthy? Because sometimes you might want to work through no longer playing that role in your family because it's become dysfunctional or no longer serving you. If you're the parentified child and you're always taking responsibility for the whole entire family and it's really weighing on you and you need some relief from that, or you want to have more balance. So a lot of times it's not only identifying it, but discovering whether it's working out for you both in personally and in your financial life.
In our practice, in our industry, we certainly see that succession planning complications really come from those family systems that maybe are a little unhealthy or
Mhm.
just at least not identified and not discussed, which rely
Mhm.
so heavily on expectation, which is why it's so important to sit with an advisor to actually have those types of discussions of, hold on, what's actually happening here, what's the intention, and what are the expectations from all of the parties involved. I think there's been a real shift between financial independence and family expectations. So I'd love to know more about your thoughts on that in terms of certain generations, for example, who may not have that maturity from a psychological standpoint to really bridge that gap between the two.
One word I'd use is that it does come back to this idea of values, that really families are talking about what their shared values are. And if they haven't done that, then you might see those discrepancies where expectations are, hey, we really always valued education, but now my child, I've transferred this wealth and they're not paying for their kids' colleges. It might create conflict. Again, talking about values, not that you have to have the same values, but really understanding one another's values so that those expectations aren't really destroyed and then that conflict ensues. It's always going to be about having those conversations and really identifying where those strain is or those differences are and not having it come to where someone passes away and then it's estate planning that gets really messy, or where the inheritance happens and everything goes awry. So I think having the conversations about values.
Conversation around wealth transfer is another conversation that nobody wants to have, but it's obviously equally as important as any other topic.